are up. But guess what? People forget this key point, Danny. You said you're a dad. When that baby came out of your wife's vagina, it couldn't talk, it couldn't walk.
She got a C-section.
All right, that's even worse. But
what?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Why?
Absolutely terrible. Forget it. That's another podcast.
She has no choice. She's so little that she would have I don't think she would have survived.
There's so much we could talk about there.
Okay, we'll save it for dinner.
Her placenta determines that. And believe it or not, the cannabinoid system, weed that's in you, that's actually what makes the decision whether the baby fits out or not. That's a story for another day. But here's the cool part.
So many questions. Jesus Christ. Okay, go ahead.
Here's the cool part of the story. The baby is a ball of fat. Mm-hmm. But what does society tell us? That subcutaneous fat is a real problem. What does the baby do with that fat? It unwinds the fat and forms a brain. The brain doesn't fully form until it's 28 years old. Mm-hmm. Remember, you don't myelinate your frontal lobes until you're 28.
Right.
That's why you can't rent a car or rent a hotel room until you're 25. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did know that, but I didn't know that was why.
That's the reason why, because you're too crazy. So the point I'm trying to make to you, think about the obesity crisis now the way Rogan doesn't think about it. Why do we have this? We have people getting fatter and fatter because things like we talked about before, about the GLP-1 drugs and big pharma. But when you put subcutaneous fat in, what are you doing? You're actually protecting the mass of your brain. And what do we know about children? They're more susceptible to non-native EMF. Why? Because they don't have as much myelin. The more myelin you have, the better able you're to protect yourself. So guess what?
What is myelin again?
Myelin is the covering of the brain.
Got it.
Meaning the nerves. That insulation, like if we're talking about wires, it's the black plastic on the outside.
Got it.
That's the thing that gets destroyed in MS. Gets destroyed. So when you put this all together, you start to go, so this is a protection system of the little baby when it's being formed. So when the baby comes out, maybe we should start thinking about obesity a little bit different. Is the obesity crisis telling us something about MK Ultra? Yep. That's why it's happening. There's an impetus in the environment that's causing us to put subcutaneous fat because we're constantly around the wrong fucking light.
Right.
And guess what happens? The placenta in humans, that's exactly what the mother does. If you think about your wife when she was pregnant with your baby, remember the first 19 weeks, she only had a little pooch, but she had a flat belly for most of it. All the organ systems are being built in that time, but the baby has no sub-Q fat. Do you know when the baby gets all the sub-Q fat? The last trimester. Do you know what controls that? Leptin in the fucking placenta sends only blue light to the baby, subtracts out UV and red. You know those biophotons we talked about? Mm-hmm. It's fattening the baby up so that it can heal its brain after it comes out of the vagina, because guess what? If it had a fully formed brain, it wouldn't fit out the vagina.
Right.
Got it? Mm-hmm. So when you begin to see that nature actually does have some insight about why everybody's getting fat now, it's because everybody's being fucking tech abused by the industrial military complex. That's why they canceled Becker.